Tuesday, March 25th, 2026, City of Scottsburg Board of Waterworks meeting to order. First thing on our agenda is to approve the March 11th, 2026 minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Marvin makes the motion,
I'll second it.
second by Paula. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. March 11th minutes are approved. Public comments, we did have one lady in, but I believe she left, so I don't see anybody else, so we'll close that portion of our meeting. Adjustments, look at this. We have got 4 adjustments. Is that fantastic or what?
It's
God says they're
Scary,
okay,
but-
I'll make the motion, we pass.
Perfect. Marvin makes the motion to approve the adjustments. Paula seconds.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries to approve the adjustments. All right, we'll go on to old business. Do you have anything on 120 water? You'll send that to the next, oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
so we have representatives from 120 water here?
Yeah.
All right, well, if you'd like to come up, introduce yourselves.
Let's leave it here.
you and I talked quite a bit.
And Mayor?
I don't know where these are supposed to go, so I just put them.
How are you guys? Carina.
Thank you.
See.
He's the one that came to me. Oh, he's there.
Mayor, how are you?
Blessed, how you doing, buddy?
Great, thank you.
This is Mayor Amy, Marvin Ritchie, board member, Paula Murray, board member, Dave Kilburn, water board president, and Alyssa Hall.
Yes,
She's here to.
I work at the utility office. I do billing there.
And this is a representative from another company.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'm Will Bischoff. I started working at 120 Water in 2024, and I'm the account manager on Scottsburg's account. Took over that account last summer, and started working with Todd to kind of figure out main goal, how to get Scottsburg to LCRI compliance, which the deadline for that is going to be November 1st, 2027. At that time, we submit an inventory of the entire water system's service line material. And so with that, the best case scenario is we want to submit an inventory that has the most known materials as possible, because there's repercussions for submitting an inventory with unknowns that essentially impact a replacement plan or replacement strategy that the city then has to enact and present to the state and EPA. So I have Peyton Marshall here with me today, who is our solutions architect at 120 Water, and he really understands the ins and outs of predictive modeling and how it potentially helps Scottsburg, show you guys how, what potential return on investment could look like for that, and how it can get you to that point where we do submit in 2027 with estimating possible repercussions on the city. So yeah, I'm gonna give Peyton for a second, and then we'll just take any questions you guys have.
Awesome. And what you have in front of you is just the first page. When you flip over is a short sort of executive summary of what it is that we're trying to do. Give you the info that you need quickly. So there's really 2 options that you have when it comes to how you reach compliance November 1st of 2027. One is going out and inspecting, right, every single one of the unknown, water lines that you still have, which that's about 2,500 as it currently stands. And the other option, which is what we're proposing here, is to undertake some predictive modeling, which we can assist with. And so you've got some details of what that would look like here, but it's basically a sort of symbiotic process, so there will still be some field inspections, but the ones that you do, we can help through some modeling, give you targeted lists. And so you'll have, coming out of the model, we're hoping to knock out a minimum of 20-25% of those unknowns right off the bat, because of the data that we're able to feed it. And, we've seen anywhere from 15 to 40 to 50 to even 60% of those unknowns come out of the model as non-lead. So that means inspections for those, and that is perfectly acceptable by the state and the EPA. I actually just got off of a call with some state regulators talking about how do we make things as easy and efficient, but defensible and credible from a public health standpoint for systems. And so fully accepted by the state. And then the other portion, like I said, there will still be some field inspections that have to take place. But if we can knock out a huge chunk for you, through some collaboration, using a method such as this, it's going to save you. You're just talking every single site that we're able to predict times the cost that it would cost you to go, and do the site visit. It adds up very, very quickly. And so that's essentially what we're talking here.
What you said, first option was we do it ourselves.
Well, so it's really, it's either, you look at verifying, going out and inspecting every single line, because that's what a lot of systems are going to end up doing.
The city would.
Exactly.
Be involved in.
Right, exactly, sure.
Either way, we will be doing the work.
It may be city funds, but
What they're proposing with this predictive modeling is they will create a map, and interrupt me if I'm wrong.
Yep, no.
But basically, they will use the information that they already have. They will create a map to tell us what areas to go to. They'll pinpoint addresses, and we will physically go out. We'll be doing the verification. They're just telling us where to go to do the verification.
Is that what this $26,940 is? They're gonna tell us what to do?
so what it's going to do is it's going to give you for every single service line in the system, a probability of lead. So it'll say, 123 Main Street is a 10% probability of being lead. And IDEM, the state has said, you can call those non-lead. And that's a completely defensible classification from a regulatory perspective.
Awesome.
So they know, the EPA, has allowed those, but given the states the power to ultimately make the decision. But they know that, you've got 2,600 unknowns, how much that's going to cost you in terms of dollars and time. And so they allow for, if they're done right, these sorts of methods.
You're using a term called modeling.
Mhm.
I'm not certain that I'm understanding that. I'm assuming it's an age of the development of that area.
So I can explain a little bit more. So what a predictive model essentially does is you've already done, some field work over the years through, work orders. You have some documented records. You know a lot of information about your system, but there's still a lot of these service lines that are unknown. And so what we do is we take that known information and we'll grab census data. I think it's 125 different data inputs that we put into this. And what it's going to do is spit out those probabilities based on all of that data. And what it does is there's still going to be some, like I said, that you have to inspect, but we might have, Todd go out with his team and inspect another 50 to fill in some of the gaps of what the model doesn't know. And then we feed that back in, and it literally gets smarter and smarter. And so those predictions that IDEM will accept are going to increase over time. So you ultimately end up inspecting far fewer than you would have had to.
So when did lead go out? In other words, they stopped using lead.
Yeah, in Indiana, it was 1988.
That's when the ban was, yeah.
So that was the first order of business.
That's the easy
Anything
part.
built after 88 was supposed to be a conventional permit. That's what it was. I do have a question
Sure.
as far as using our current day are using service orders, as you said. I guess I'm not understanding how service orders can help
Yeah,
pinpoint lead, non-lead.
sure.
But even if you can't explain that, the problem I see with that, and Melissa, tell me if I'm right or wrong, we just went to a new service order format.
Mhm.
All of our old stuff is like our old service orders. It's all gone, isn't it? Or do you still have access?
It's not gone. We still have access to it. We just don't have a lot of information in our old system.
And I'll speak to that. It's not a requirement. I was just throwing that out as
Okay.
one example of many different types of data that we might use. But one example that you might glean from a service work order might be, notes that one of the operators left of, there was a leak or a busted piece of the pipe, replaced it with, 1.5 PVC or something like that.
Oh, see, that's the problem. What we're here for today is what we're dealing with. We're identifying the customer's bracket line. And that's something that we don't, over the years, yes, have we ever been on the customer's side? But we don't document it because
Mhm.
it's not our responsibility.
Right.
And, we don't use setters for the most part. I don't know, you might not understand what I'm talking about. Some water systems use setters where, the customer connection, you can actually see it.
In the
inside
meter bit, yep,
98% of ours are not that type of,
sure,
so our connection is done 2 feet outside the meter.
sure.
So you can't just pop the lid and see what the customer is. So we have to physically, and that's my whole beef with it. I know you guys don't have anything to do with that. I'm not
No,
gonna go
yeah,
down that
I mean-
rabbit hole, but
We've heard a lot of grievances over the last 3 years.
And that's what kind of has birthed these solutions, where there are systems who kind of they have an unfair advantage where they can go look at their meter pit and see both sides. And it's easy. It doesn't cost you man hours, it doesn't cost you money. They have meter readers, they go out and read meter, they also identify the material, so it's kind of like they're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If you're doing an excavation, if you're taking a back truck out there, it's taking time, it's taking equipment, it's money. And so the whole solution behind this is, how do we get your unknowns, which are, you say around 1800, once we get the data all squared away, how do we get that number to 0 as fast as we can with as little man hours, as little excavation, as little money as possible? Because you don't know the customer side, and they're not gonna be happy if you're back trucking their yard. And the least amount of verifications you can do to get to that acceptable level is what a lot of people are chasing right now, because we're a year and change out from the next submission deadline. And when we do submit that inventory in 27, if you have unknowns, if you have galvanized, if you have lead, you have to form a replacement plan based on those numbers.
There's a lot of other burdensome requirements that come with it. And so, we're trying to, again, what's the path of least resistance to knock out as much as we possibly can and hopefully not have to do any of that.
So, and it would be accepted by IDEM.
100%, yep.
So basically, even if one was in there that maybe it's not gonna be a big deal. Is that correct?
Correct, yep. And another good thing about working with us is we do have a direct relationship with IDEM. And so we're talking with them about what is and is not acceptable constantly.
Where you guys based?
Zionsville. Yes, sir.
Our company is, I just moved, I moved to the West Coast, I live in Washington State now. But I was out this week for AWWA.
So you're in Washington now?
Yeah,
So you're the main captain?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My wife and I, we live in Broad Ripple in
Okay.
Indianapolis. Yes, sir.
So you were here, but you moved out.
yeah. And then Todd just called me last week, he was like, we have a board meeting next week, could you make it?
Thank you for coming.
And I was like, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, an hour drive.
Yeah.
And, So, so you guys have been doing this for 3 years, 4 years?
So, 120 Water's been, actually today is our 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
We got started as a water sampling company, and so that's something that we still do to this day. But, you know, obviously with these inventory regulations and everything that comes with those, we've stepped into that space.
That's been a big space to step in.
Huge, huge. So I think we're approaching 8,000 water systems that we work with nationwide. So we've been around the block a few times.
We did do potholing for a fair amount. Did we not? So we've already done some of it.
Mhm, yeah.
Remember the percentage you found? Was it 0 or what did you find?
Of all of the ones that have been verified so far, 3 have been lead, and I think roughly 60 have been galvanized.
62, I think, yeah.
So basically, 10%.
Yeah, well, there's some discrepancy of what Will thinks still needs to be, well, he's not disagreeing with me, but the numbers that he brought up and the numbers I brought up were about 800 different, but I'm thinking we have roughly close to 50% verified. So out of 50%, 3 lead and 60 galvanized. It might be a little more than 50, but a little less than 50 that have been identified.
And basically, everything pretty well west of 65 is all new anyway.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
And really, if you look at the subdivisions that have gone in, so basically, we're just in our older areas.
Which is pretty typical,
Same.
yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, for the most part, you're correct. For the most part, the focus should be east of 65.
I'm wondering, should you even starting just now, if you got on a call, identify if you're having to, owner has this type of, whether it's a PEX or whatever it is, So we know that it's not what they're having. I know it's not our place, but at least we would know for future events or something like that. That we just make a notation.
And that's what we've been advising a lot of folks to do is, just in the course of work that you're already doing, if you can see, the material, go ahead and note it down. Don't create extra work for yourselves.
Exactly. But we don't dig up because we do have about a 2 foot, and if it's on this side of the sidewalk, it's gonna be longer on the other side of the sidewalk.
So where we come in is if we can make your cost, $20, $30 a site on the high end, rather than 100, 150, 200 a site, if you are rolling a truck and if you are taking the time out of your day to dig, and that's what we're
It's a
looking to
lot
do.
of money.
That's what we're looking to do.
Is there no electronics that can identify just by going through it?
Well, so there are, it's a hotly debated topic. Some states allow, you may have heard of swordfish, for instance. It sends an electrical pulse through the pipe, and based on what the conductivity comes back as, it'll tell you what the material is.
Oh, I did not know there was such a thing.
Yeah, item has not approved, said things. It's a national discussion. What can we do because digging is so costly?
But I mean, if you can identify a piece of metal in the ground,
Mhm.
this is 124 inches deep.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's my question. So I mean, there's no electronic wand you can just, in your car, whatever, just drive through.
Not while you're rolling in a car or a
Or
truck.
walk,
Yeah, there are, it's called ground penetrating radar,
okay?
little handheld scanner that it would do exactly what you're talking about. Again, we can check for you actually.
Will they accept that?
I would have to check, cause it's state specific rules on things like that. But we can absolutely check and come back to you.
That'd be great.
And
I love to walk,
sure, yeah, absolutely.
especially for saving thought of money.
I mean, combine something like that with, kind of the method that we're talking about to do, not all 1,800, 1,700, it could knock it out pretty quick.
So. Sounds good.
And you've got, some more detailed information and everything, in the packets as well, if you have, any other questions. But is there anything else that we can answer for you?
What's the purpose of this?
Yeah, so it's,
Health,
it's all about, so the EPA put in these, rules in place, coming out of the Flint, Michigan situation.
EPA is one telling us to do this, right?
Exactly.
Or if we don't do
Then they're gonna fine
slap
it,
your.
fine.
you.
Every water system in the country is up against this.
Well, so somebody's got lead in the pipes in their property, where you tell them they're gonna have to replace it?
So you can't make a resident or, property owner replace their side of the line. You have to inform them if you find out that they do have one. But it's not on you all to foot the bill, to replace a customer's side of the line.
It's a
Well,
politically correct
I mean-
way to transfer the liability, rather than have your consumer, your water consumers come to you and say, well, why do we have lead? Are my kids in danger of lead poisoning and all these things? You go out instead and say, hey, your house has a lead service line. It's been there since 1929 when the house was put in. These are the risks associated with that. Here's the action that you can take to replace it. But the city of Scottsburg is not financially liable to replace it. Which is a big part of the strategy. I know you guys send the letters out every year.
And the city cut them off if they don't replace it?
No, it's just they acknowledge
Yeah.
that
Right.
they have a risky
They
line.
can do what they wanna do, in other words. They
Yeah.
have to do nothing.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of folks can't afford $5,000 or $10,000 to replace their line, too.
Right, well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
basically, how long does this take?
So we can get this spun up in a week, as soon as we get some signed paperwork back from you all, we're just about ready to get the process started.
The
So
first,
let's talk about the money then.
Sure.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I know the predictive modeling is kind of in the focus of the discussion here, right? But you see some other line items on there. And so that is, you get, as part of the same cost, it's not an upcharge or anything like that, access to our software, sort of the upgraded version of the software, which allows you to do some other things, like send out those notices and manage some of the other work that has to be done, that you're not currently doing with us. It's more of a self-serve option, but gives you the capability to do that. So that comes with it. And then you also get a person like Will and myself that is an expert on the Indiana specific regulations and can constantly advise you and keep you ahead of what needs to happen, in the next 12, 24 months, as we approach the deadline. And so you get all of that wrapped up into that cost, plus the predictive modeling.
What about the previous invoice that you sent us? Is that included in this
so the
6,000?
the predictive modeling has a discount of that invoice. So essentially, the predictive modeling, the price for that is 38,000 some odd change, and I just subtracted last year's invoice out of that. So as long as, so we could do it one of two ways. We could pay last year's invoice and pay 26,000, or you don't pay last year's invoice, you pay 38,000. But my way of making it whole as best as I could was to give that invoice discounted off the service cost this year.
I tried calling you guys. I had a hard time getting hold of the person.
Sure.
Finally, I got a hold of a person, and they told me that basically there is no cost unless we had extra things that the state was paying. The state was paying for that.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Tell us how that all works.
Yeah, so currently, the state requires that all water systems use the most basic version of our software to submit this service line inventory every year. So that's currently where you're at. That's all that it includes. It includes no advisory services, no predictive modeling. With the upgraded version, you can do some other things with it as well.
Right. Because we've not done any of that,
Mhm.
so why would we be charged that?
You guys had in the upgraded version for I think there was an IFA grant, that's what started it out, right? I'm trying to remember. It was it in 2023 when it was Steve Smith, right, who came,
I think so.
yeah, so
Who is it, Todd?
Uh,
Who is it?
it was
I think it was a gentleman
A gentleman.
that was with
with
120.
120 water. So
At the time.
Scottsburg had what we consider a pro version of the 120 water account, which includes the larger scale platform is included in this, as well as a service consultant. And
I mean, did you have a service consultant?
Well, see, what happened was when I signed the agreement back in 23, 24, the Indiana Finance Authority, there was grant money and we weren't paying anything for what, the first year?
it might have been 2 years,
No,
2
it was
years.
a couple of years, 2 or 3. I
Okay. And
paid it all.
of course, Will and I have talked about this. A gentleman that's no longer with them, he was the guy that came in and talked to me. And he more or less assured me that after a couple of years, this would be done and we would be absolved. It would all be done. So basically, what I was promised was that the IFA would end up footing the bill, and by the time the money ran out, it would all be over. But that's not how. it
So
worked out.
so with the service contract, there was a continuation clause that was not met.
Can you
And
show us that continuation clause? Because we've never been able to find it.
yeah, look at my computer.
I mean, I don't know.
Have we ever found that?
I mean, I don't know what they've done that would actually merit the amount of money owed.
Sure.
You know, I mean, so we've never, as far as I know, and I'm not one that just walks away.
Mhm.
You know, I need to know what Todd's doing.
Yeah.
And so I've not heard anything from him that you've got, down here, you're down here helping us, and Todd's calling you back and forth, and how we're getting this thing done.
Yeah.
We just know that we got deadlines.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes down to, I took over the account after all this kind of went down, started working with Todd to try to figure this out. And I've tried a million ways to skin the cat, essentially, where I can't make that invoice go away, but I can take off that invoice of this predictive modeling.
Well, there's no, I mean, if you can't make it go away, then you've got to prove to me that it is actually owed.
Mhm.
How is it owed?
Well, and I think what Will is saying is, so you see 26,940 on there, right? The actual cost is 38 and some change.
Yeah.
He's taking off the 11 that we've already sent you an invoice for. So you pay that either way for this service. It's just that invoice, or we rolled into this one.
But again, I don't see why we would pay it if we didn't have the service.
Sure,
In other
yeah.
words- In other words, if you're saying, okay, we're not gonna worry about that, it's just gonna be $26,000. I think I'm hearing that's what it is, that's what you're doing.
Well, so the 26 is factoring in if you were to pay that 11.
Yeah, then why would I pay it if we've not had any type of service for it?
Yeah. Can I'll show you here. So the way that it's broken down,
Well, I understand.
well, yeah,
Because you're
so
asking me to pay the 11.8 or whatever it is.
11.3.
11.3, and yet I've not received any service.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. The price of what we're talking about today is 38,000 and some change. And
Because
so
we haven't paid that, so instead of paying for it, it's actually, do we want to pay 30,000?
essentially, yes, sir,
So,
essentially.
to get this done, I don't know, that's a good question.
And I do have, if you'd like to see it, some estimated ROIs. Because again, this is directly
It
one.
was an ROI, return
Return
on
on
investment. Just want to make sure
So
we're clear.
Mhm. I mean, because we're literally talking, we think we can save you several hundred site visits. And if we do that, your cost avoided is directly what it would cost you to go to a site and visit it times, that number.
So my question there is, then, if that is the case, how much more time is it gonna take for Todd and his crew? So, in other words, it has to be a savings for us.
Yes.
So my question is, what is that savings?
So, I'll go ahead and pull this out. We can pass these around. So, what we did, what Steve did, we had mentioned a couple of years ago, was he gave you a guarantee,
This is Steve, the guy you worked with? Okay.
which he should not have given.
Okay.
And I always tell anybody, especially when we're talking about something like predictive modeling.
Sure.
It's so heavily dependent on what is actually out here in your distribution system, which there's 2,500 unknown lines. We have a good sense, but we don't know exactly what we'll dig up. And so if anybody tries to give you a guarantee, a specific yes, 100% guarantee, I always say be very wary of that person. And so what I have
That's
here.
what we had before.
Yes,
Steve.
yes,
So,
which Steve is no longer with,
right.
the company. But what you'll see, and you can pass these around as well. It's sort of a good, better, best sort of scenario. And you can see, I put on there some projections of what you'd save if it costs you $150, to do a site visit, and if it costs you $250 to do a site visit.
Thank you.
Sorry, I wouldn't get it. So like the far left column, if we're able to
Right,
knock out 15%, only 15% of your unknowns, you're looking at, almost 100 grand saved. And if we're able to knock out up to 40%, the savings climb, quite a bit higher.
so,
No, you're fine.
Okay, so the 26,000 you're quoting now, we don't know that is gonna be the actual amount. That's just an estimate.
Well, so that is the cost.
That's
Yes.
the cost of the
Yeah.
predictive model. No, we can't factor in the cost for the verification work because we don't do the verification work. And some cities have the capability to do their own verification work in-house, and some cities have to contract it out because they don't have enough staff, they don't have a back truck, so on and so forth. And so the cost of verification is greatly dependent on the capability of the city, where it could cost as little as $100 for verification, as much as $1,600 to do an excavation.
I mean, I think, and I haven't studied this, but I think that if we could find an instrument, and I would think in this time period, I think we could, if they make such an instrument and we contact IDEM and they say you're okay,
Mhm.
then I mean, it could be fairly easy.
Which we do have. We have a services division as well.
Okay.
And it's led by, if you've heard of the company Ziptility, it's led by a guy that came over from Ziptility, in Indiana company. He's based here as well. And, we have statewide technical assistance programs in several states.
Okay.
North Carolina, Rhode Island, being some. where they are organizing the on-the-ground folks, organizing subs.
So is the guy you
Equipment.
talked about the first time, is he on the ground for us as well here in Indiana?
He actually subcontracts for a lot of smaller systems around the state because he was a former operator.
Right.
So he's doing work with folks here in the state, yeah.
So this 26,000, would that include him?
That does not include that service, no.
So, but,
We mostly to say we have other resources should you need some of those things.
so,
So what you're saying is we have to go and see what the pipes are.
As you would without us, right?
Well, then what's this 26,000 for?
So we're talking about being able to knock out, so you don't have to go visit, a big chunk of those. We'll do it through another method. And so you have to ultimately do quite a bit fewer than you
What
would
could you do
otherwise.
them all?
And that's what I'm saying. We might get close to that. It's hard to say at this point, and I would not want to give you any such guarantee because I wouldn't be able to do that in good faith.
But could you guarantee, again, there's some variation of how many we think we need to identify, but I'm gonna go with 1,700. If we say 1,700 is what needs to be identified and you do the model, you're not gonna come back, but can you guarantee you're not gonna come back and say, okay, well, you guys have to identify 600 or 700?
We will get a pretty good chunk. Now, what we may say is, hey, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out on a map all of the site visits that you have done. And what we need is representative site visits. So if you've done, a few hundred, but they're all in one area, we might say, hey, we need you to go do some over here so that we can feed that into the model. Because if we only have one area of town, it's gonna think the entire town is exactly like that one area. So we might need you to do, a couple hundred, and then maybe 25 here, 10, 15 here. It will be a couple to a few hundred, but it's not gonna be 1,700. We're gonna knock out a lot of those.
Well, I mean, I can tell you this for what it's worth. I know this probably doesn't help with the modeling, but the part of town that has already been identified where the 3 lead and the 60 galvanized were identified, that's the oldest part of town.
Sure, yeah.
So,
was there ever any time copper and then with a lead seal? I mean,
What solder?
lead solder? Does that make a difference?
well, see, that's the thing. All we have to identify is from the meter to the house.
I know.
So that would be on the EPA's definition, it'd be a non-lead service line. They don't consider lead
So
solder.
basically, if it's basically then, is it I'm basically looking at what we got inside our pit. If our pits are all copper and we're not responsible for that, for them,
But we are.
we're not.
It's, so you would never be responsible or financially liable for what's on their side. The EPA has said you do have to also tell them what is on the customer side.
So
Okay.
basically then Tim's telling them you have
We're,
You have a
okay,
lead
yeah, we're not responsible for replacing their line. We are responsible for identifying what it is.
Identifying and then communicating then replacement options. So, you have to give them the option of replacement with them knowing the financial burden is on them.
So we kind of compare that to smoking. Surgeon General
Yes,
tells you,
exactly,
this is bad for you, but
exactly.
So to your point, Mayor, and again, I'm just gonna say that what you were talking about, okay, we identify your house and it's PVC.
Right.
But inside your house, all your plumbing
It's all lead.
has lead fittings. Well, when we do lead and copper testing, we drop a bottle off at your house and you draw the sample out of your tap. So even though your private line from the meter to the house is PVC, all your fittings are lead.
Well, you're testing, show it though?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we've been testing.
Well, then why can't you not take the testing that he has
Mhm.
and have this modeling?
Yeah, and it gets a little bit more nuanced, because
You could do that with just testing water.
Well,
it
but
could totally be a non-lead line in the ground, but there's no way without going into each and every house and looking at the plumbing.
And we're required to test triannually, and it's 30.
But I'm telling you that if you just had to test the water, you're gonna get water, if you can test lead in that water, that's gonna be huge. That'd be a huge thing. That wouldn't cost you a lot of money.
Well, and, do you all do corrosion control treatment with orthophosphates? You put orthophosphates in the water?
No,
So a lot of systems do to prevent the lead corrosion of the pipes. And because of that, because it's so widespread.
well, no, yes, we do, I'm sorry, we use
Sure.
phosphate. I'm sorry.
So in that case, the EPA would say, no, you can't use water sampling results because you put stuff in the water to where the lead won't corrode and get into the water. So even if, it showed up, they wouldn't count that as a valid method.
I thought you told me you can't, it would show you lead. Am I incorrect in that?
I'm sorry, do we do what?
And when you go and test everything, and will it show lead in your water?
Yeah, I mean, when we do the lead, when we do the lead and copper testing, that's specifically what it's for, is to,
See,
but I mean, we don't do it here.
I know, you
It's
said it all.
sent to a lab, yeah.
And there's a lot of sources that can cause
But
lead
the
results.
EPA don't, won't,
So like your faucet,
won't let you use
lead
that,
solder,
is that right?
lead built up on the inside of galvanized pipes. And so that's why like EPA,
That's what he said.
How can lead,
What's gonna end up happening is they're going to, like right now, what is it, 0.015?
Yes, sir.
But they're gonna continue to lower that and continue to lower that until it's gonna be virtually impossible to achieve what they want to achieve. And this is my argument, is if you want a true representation of what is in your drinking water, let us test at the meter, not at your tap. Because I cannot tell you, you have to eliminate all of your plumbing and redo it. But, people have this misconception, I have lead in my drinking water, you're pumping lead tainted water to my system?
no,
And that's not what's happening. If you have lead or galvanized pipes that your carrier water is traveling through, then you are at a greater risk of lead leaching out of that carrier pipe into your drinking water. But people misunderstand that and they think that we're pumping lead tainted water to the system, and that's not.
It's perfectly clean until it gets to their house.
right.
Mhm.
How, you mentioned, just a steel pipe,
Galvanized steel.
the galvanized steel pipe. And then you said something about lead being in that.
yeah, so lead can leach into like a galvanized steel pipe. And so part of this lead and copper rule is all lead lines need to be identified and replaced, in a perfect world, as well as galvanized lines that may have been downstream of lead, because of the lead potentially leaching into them.
And another piece to all of this is there's the new deadline that's coming, as we've talked, November 27. All of your unknowns that you still have, which again, currently we're at, 1,700 or so. The EPA has said that if they're still unknown on November 1st of 2027, they automatically look at them as lead and they go into, you have to replace all of those in a 10-year time frame, and the clock starts ticking. And so that's another reason why we're using methods like this. If we can knock out 20, 30, 40%, and help you knock them all out much faster, the hope is to avoid as much of that mandated work as possible.
Well, knowing that, because we know, and all these systems know that 80% of your system is not lead, right? And so instead of going out to that subdivision that's on the other side of 65 that you know is completely not lead, doing random targeting of the excavations where you're like, all right, that one's copper in this neighborhood, that one's PVC in this neighborhood, that one's HDPE in this neighborhood, and then doing the same thing in the historical parts of town paints a better picture than kind of going through everything one by one.
It costs a lot less.
It costs a lot less, and then it
Lot less.
allows you to target that historic downtown area where you actually have maybe, I don't know, the word's not concerned, but where you actually think that there's probably galvanized.
Where it'd
lead.
be feasible.
And it's harder to prove that there's never been lead in the downtown area because sometimes records don't go back that far, or sometimes we just didn't keep them because we didn't ever think we need them, and all the different things that can go into it. And so the approach is, how do we get to 27? Knowing the most information, having the state accept it, having the federal government accept it, and putting the least burden on the city with that replacement plan.
And keeping a high standard of public health at the same time.
You've given us a lot of information. It's really, I'm sure glad you came down.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
One of the things I want to get straight though, is because I don't feel I owe you any $10,000, $11,000. So I need to know that's gonna be wiped out.
So we can,
It will be if we pay this $26,940.
No, they're saying no, they're not saying that.
It'll
They're
be
saying-
wiped out.
No, you got to still pay that. That's what he's saying, you gotta pay it. And we did, as far as I'm concerned, and what I'm hearing, both on your side as well as on our side, that basically they had paid that, and it was anything that was above that. And from what I'm hearing, all we heard was a guy saying, hey, we're gonna promise you it's all gonna be gone. Why would I pay for that?
yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could do from my vantage point is we could do 38,000 for the predictive modeling, and then that 11,300 invoice goes away.
No, it doesn't, you're still charging.
Well,
So, yeah, the true cost of what we're talking about today
Is that kind of money?
is
Exactly.
38.
yeah,
So either we just discount the invoice that we're trying to charge you, discount that off of this,
Yeah.
or we get rid of that invoice and the true cost will just include that dollar amount, here.
So at $38,000, that gives me a good number to look at.
Yes, sir.
For this
Yep.
board to look at.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yep.
But you're knocking it down to 26 to take care of the 11.
If the current invoice that we had sent to you gets paid.
so instead of coming in and saying,
Still $38,000.
yeah,
Total.
Yeah.
Total.
We paid the 26,000 and we still owe 11 more, is that what you're saying?
As part of this total package.
So,
So you're not doing away with the 11,000?
No.
And that the guy that did work for you is a liar, and you can't prove that because they don't work for you anymore.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy
Well,
to,
now-
I'm happy to explore as many options I can, and that's what I've been doing with Todd.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, if you don't do this, if you don't do that,
Right.
so I'm telling you, I'm gonna
All that,
pay.
yeah.
Unless you show me what you earned.
Yeah, we can sit down and look at it closely. We definitely can.
So, I really appreciate what it is, and how many times have they given an extension?
For
For,
the inventory, never.
In other words, you said that they've given an extension out of 27. I thought you said it had
Yeah.
already been,
so, yeah, I see what your question is. So the compliance, there's been multiple compliance periods. So the big introduction of this inventory, it was October 16th of 2024.
okay,
That was that first compliance period.
okay,
And November 1st, 27, and basically it's a 3-year period
Yeah.
for you to comply with this new set of requirements that they put in front of you.
1991, the lead and copper rule came out. And so that's when they said, we gotta start testing for lead and copper in water and start informing the public of the potential pitfalls of that. 2019 is-ish
There's a couple revisions.
is
in between.
when the lead and copper rule
Yeah.
revisions came out, and they said, you have to make an inventory of your drinking water lines, both system side and customer side, and submit that as like a rough draft in October of 2024.
Mhm.
Who's they?
EPA. As a result, you would then have to send out notices to people where you did another service line, if either they had a galvanized line or if they have a lead line. And then November of 2024, they released the lead and copper rule in improvements, which basically said, now we take this a step further. We submit again November 1st, 2027, and we file a replacement plan for that system. The system has to replace service lines between 2027 and 2037 so that
They put you on a 10-year timeline, and you must meet certain minimums every year.
Let me go down another road here now. I want to ask Todd, do we have any, as the city of Scottsburg, have any supply lines that are lead?
On our side, are you saying,
Does the city of Scottsburg have any lead lines that we're supplying people with?
no?
So basically, we can, with that new, be able to submit to IDIM that we have no supply lines with the company.
Well, so what they do is they basically combine the two sides, your side and the customer side, and they look at it as one. So if either side is lead, they'll tell you you have a lead line.
But I just want to make sure on my part that I'm not giving anybody water that's going through a lead line.
And we
That
have,
onus would then be on me.
yes, and
That's why I wanted to
Yeah,
ask.
and we, through letters, we work with, tons of systems to send the letters and all the communication and stuff. We can get real specific
Sure.
with the language
Sure.
to say, it's been identified on your side
Yeah.
as opposed to ours,
And every city has different ordinances about where ownership is split,
and
and all those
Yeah,
things.
it's split when we, in 2 feet, unless it's under a sidewalk with us. So that's good for us. I'm assuming it's always been that way.
Can your people do that 1,700 we're talking about?
I'm sorry, no, what?
Can your people do
No.
1,700 tests to see? You can't do it. How
I'm
much
putting
more is
meters
that
in
gonna
now.
cost?
We're changing all of our meters.
okay,
So you're getting me at a time right now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no.
How much is it gonna cost?
oh, I'm sure. We've seen some
Well,
pretty hefty contracts.
I mean,
for
if
that.
I hired somebody, probably $150.
I think the best way to go would be in this area, I just need to figure out
Service.
how
Yeah.
much for you guys to, I need to
per
phone
service.
Yeah, 100%,
So.
absolutely.
So if we
Make
did,
sure that we can get a hold of you. I have a hard time.
Yeah.
I called a half dozen times.
If you call one of us, you're guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, I think I believe that. And you've been with this company how long, 4 years?
For me, it's 3
That's
years.
3 years.
Yes, sir.
Will, you've been 4?
2.
2.
350,000
So,
on top of
Don't see us going
No, no, no,
anywhere
no.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
if we do what they're proposing, we're thinking probably somewhere around 350, correct?
A few hundred,
Yeah.
yeah, instead of
We can do
1,700.
that.
Yeah.
We can do that. 1,700,
Bischoff, E,
we don't,
Yes.
we don't have the manpower to do it.
that. They're gonna do it.
But
French?
if we did this predictive modeling and
What's your phone number?
we have to verify 250, 300,
4618.
we can handle that.
Hey, what's your last name?
Marshall,
Marshall.
2 L's at the end.
We can handle it.
317?
I'm a 574,
Okay,
actually, I'm from
574.
South Bend, Indiana.
574?
fast,
Yes, sir.
can't remember right
574,
574, okay.
274,
274
1190.
1190, got it. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and, I don't know, the master services agreement for that original invoice, I can send, I don't know whose email is sent to, but I can send it over to you guys. That way, that's something you can review too, as we start.
And again, we're happy to sit down and really give it a look.
It's just like, I'm
I
low,
appreciate that.
we're the low men on the totem pole when it comes to like invoices and all that stuff, and we're coming through doing damage control and making
A
sure.
lot of that.
I just wanna make sure that the people that I'm working with know that they're gonna be in compliance and that they know every option that they have.
Still based in trust.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Because right now, it hasn't been,
You want a motion?
I've got a case that has
Exactly, yeah.
So again,
I'm sorry.
You want a motion that we take this under advisement?
Sure.
I appreciate
I'm not selling you a used car.
Well, that's what I'm watching.
Right, right,
Maybe
right.
any minute, so I think we're
But
okay.
Mayor, I will say, I've not dealt with him, but Will and I, we conversed quite a
We
bit.
can always
Yeah,
come, I
he-
think we can always come back on the
He's been
minutes.
good to work with. Yeah, he's
But it's up to you,
been
whatever you think.
Respond.
I don't trying to get rid of them.
Well,
And I don't want you guys to feel like we're beating you down.
Hey, I came
No,
here to
I-
be beat down.
I'd rather you ask the tough questions while
well,
we're
that's
here.
what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Because while I have you, now's the time to answer these questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you?
I'm the tank person. You just didn't look earlier.
Well, now that we've stolen your
Yeah.
your whole meeting,
I don't have your ID. I don't have an invoice for you.
thanks so much.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate
See,
that.
he's been here all the time. I just realized I was here.
That one off.
Yeah, that
We got a card.
could be too, yeah.
Hey, guys, we had some extras.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're
Can
welcome.
you do something on that TV? From my notebook.
Because that's why I'm recording on that end, so is it on this?
Yeah, it is. I just don't know if you have the ability.
Sorry, Mr. Hoffman, we don't have time for you now.
I mean, I don't have a way to project from this. So I didn't know if I could
Did you
plug my
send it to
hard drive.
his?
I can plug my hard drive into his and if that'll
Oh, yeah,
project to
yeah.
that.
Yeah, they both would, but put your hard drive in that.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
What's the answer, Todd? What's the answer?
What do you mean?
We gonna have to do.
I mean, it's-
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm not familiar.
You're okay.
Well, let's make sure we get it up.
I mean, I think we. I said it.
You just gotta remember, if we're gonna show his.
Get her not
Then
done.
you'll have to come here to do that.
That's what I think.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
You're not gonna end this until you get back to his office, but I can.
We got 10 years.
We'll get something done.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
So-
I'll explain it later.
So we spent quite a bit of time on this. so
I'm
can we-
sorry.
Can we go, no, it needed to be spent. Let's go ahead and put that on the discussion under old business for next meeting. Is that okay with you, Mayor?
Yeah.
Perfect. And thank you for all the good questions. It was-
Well, I just bet. I mean, I do this all the time. You gotta know what you're buying.
EPA is telling you what to buy anything.
Well, I mean, that's my next step, because then I'm gonna go to IDEM and say, here's what's going on. I want IDEM to know everything we're doing. I wanna do it right, I wanna do it correct. And I don't wanna get my hands slapped, I wanna do it right. I've always said, son, if you don't do it right, when you're gonna do it, come back, next time, come back and do it.
If you're gonna do it right. You ain't gonna do it.
And I'm sorry, but I needed to have some of those questions answered.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great.
But closed.
You say close.
Yeah,
I got you.
ask me later.
There it is. I see it.
Okay, we're now down to Jay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We're still on old business.
Yeah. Well, when you get the new business, let me know.
Okay, so just so you guys will know how we usually go around and ask for announcements, not tonight. All right, so second in old business, but turn it over to
Am I
Jim.
up? All right.
You're up.
All right, Mayor, I've taken care of your tanks for quite a number of years.
Thank you, sir.
So, when we had the witch's tank redone, I had the sign repainted or fixed because it was starting to get a little
Thank you very much for
faded.
that.
No problem.
Thank
It didn't cost that much to do it at the time, and, it's red. Red fades like crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I have two things. One, I've asked him about, and so the question last time I was here is, will you paint the Vest Street tank white again, or will you paint it something else? And so we really didn't talk about it too much. You don't have to paint it white. Your book ended on both ends of the city with white tanks. Nobody sees the tank at Vest Street except the citizens. So you don't have to have white. And so, they talked about purple and gold and some school colors, and you don't want to do that. It makes the tank too dark, and it would cost a lot of money because you have to use a $700 a gallon paint to do that. If you just want to put Scottsburg back on it, that's perfectly fine. If you want the new logo on it, that's fine.
We would, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We had talked about putting our warrior and warriorettes when we done. Mayor, I'll let you explain.
No, go right ahead.
Well, so we were talking about doing this
State
State
championship
champions,
yeah.
basketball, and
basketball.
put the year.
Right. That's easy. That's pretty easy to do. So your warrior and your warriorette are kind of, well, I mean, I have them. I've seen them. They're kind of purple and gold and white. One of the things you could do if you were going to do that, you could.
We just like to have a white tank. I believe we all decided on
I got
that
you.
last time.
Okay.
And then maybe if we wanted to put the letters in a purple with a gold outline.
Still, it's gonna fade a lot. It doesn't fade.
It will fade over time. If you do that small one, I would have them do it in.
Black.
Painting the entire tank and painting a logo are two different things.
What color is Scottsburg?
Aren't you purple and gold?
Right, we are.
Okay. And so if you did it in a small version and not the whole tank, that's a big difference. You're talking about a few gallons of, really high-end paint as opposed to a few hundred gallons of high-end paint. So I can have a rendering done, like this is we have sign guys that do this. So that's a rendering for
Right.
Carroll County Water. I mean, I can have a rendering done so you can see it, and it's not that big a deal. I just need to know if you're going to do something like that, because we open bids for this project next week. I have to let our bidders know that we may do something other than replace sign as is. Replace sign as is gets folded into the entire project and you don't see it. Another sign, I would ask them to give me a price on that so that you actually see it. It would be a line item. You do not want to bid this and then you come to me and say, Mr. Hoffman, would you go ask them how much it's going to cost to do that? It'll be double or triple because they didn't bid on it to begin with.
There's no competition.
But no, there's not. So they can get any price they want out of it.
Here's the thing though, I'm not sure I want it on this tank. I'd rather have it on the interstate tank.
Would you take Scottsburg off of that or would you put it in between?
I would leave Scottsburg on this tank.
No. Let me ask my question again. On the Witch's Hat tank, would you leave Scottsburg on that and then put the Warrior in between it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And would leave Scottsburg on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. That's That's relatively easy. It just, I leave sign as is on the vestry tank, and I could get a price from them to do the logo, the Warrior and the Warrior logo
I don't,
on that tank, and that's no big deal.
and I don't even know that we need a Warrior logo, just the writing that
That's
says,
the writing.
says state champions.
Yeah.
Is that,
I gotta see how much space you have. How much space you have in between there. You probably have enough,
Can you put it under it even?
excuse me.
Can you put it under Scottsburg?
But I don't know about that. I have to look and I'd have to look at it again. So, you have to be able to read it from a quarter mile away,
Right.
and so the sign guys, that's why I like these guys, because they know, they'll say, okay, this is what you got, this is what you can do. There's a formula for all of that
That
stuff.
sure is.
I'm not smart enough to know how to do that. Even though I've been doing this for 30 years, I'm not smart enough to do
You
that.
know it, brother.
So, if that's something,
Which you-
that's something that you can do if you wanted to do that. I can find that out. That would be something that we would add, that you could add on to the witch's hat tank, and not this one. I could leave my document as it is and not even send out a new bid form, and just says replace sign as is, and that's just the way that what it is right now. And so I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just needed a little clarification because it affects price big time. And so, we go asking for things like that afterwards, and you'll pay through the nose for it.
You want something flowery like that board that you have like it is now, or you want Scottsburg with an American flag or something?
You could have that. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
that is.
just like that.
Yeah.
Or you want something fancy schmancy?
well,
It fades a little bit. That's up to this morning.
American flags are pretty common.
Yeah.
They're not super expensive. I think we did one last year,
have you seen our new city logo?
the one that's on his truck and on his hat. Yes,
Yeah, how hard's that?
that's not that hard.
So
So
we leave instead of fixing it back as is now, just plant that logo on there.
you plant that logo on two sides. And so if you would do it as that,
Cause I like that new logo. It's really nice. And it's kind of a brand recognition
It
thing.
is.
it is.
So if the rest of the board members are okay with that,
Can-
so is that gonna mess you up? on
No.
your quote?
Not at all. So can I have, and are you kind of like the clerk or the secretary?
It depends on what you want.
I want that logo in an electronic form.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
give that to you.
That's
You just
what I
want it
want.
sent to your
So see,
email?
that's pretty easy, yeah. So that's what I want. And so do you have that on your truck, it's black, on her shirt, it's blue. So,
Whichever way,
well, no,
whatever you think,
I'll-
whatever you think will hold up the best.
they both will do fine. I'll go out painted Panther pink if that's what you want. We don't really care. So,
What holds the color the best? What color?
well, white, just because you can't tell
Because it
that it's
reflects,
paint.
yeah. Oh, that reflects.
All the guys that sell paint, if they walk up and you rub it like this, they'll tell you, it's chalked out. Well, that's self-cleaning. That's bullshit. It's not. There's no such thing as self-cleaning. That's just paint going away. So, that tank was last painted, I guess, around 2000, 2001, 2. He can tell you about when it was.
25 years, that's good.
Yeah, it's a long time. And so, it's chalked out pretty bad, and we're gonna overcoat the thing. We have better paints now than we did then, at our disposal to use. And so, we have high UV paints and things like that, and they're not really that much more expensive or anything like that. So if you did I've just put this out. So if you did your logo like that, his is black, hers is gray, you could do, or blue, you could do either one. And I said this the last time I was here, we have done a tremendous amount of tanks in navy gray, about the color of his hat.
Oh.
See that gray on his hat? We've
Oh,
done
that
a
look.
lot of those tanks in gray. And one of the reasons now your tank really doesn't get that dirty. You're not pulling out of the aquifer where it's 55 degrees all the time. But the gray tanks don't show dirt nearly as much. Go ahead. Did you want to say something? Well, you raised his hand. I didn't know if it was or not. So if you, the way I do it, I tell you sometimes to wear a white t-shirt to work and see what it looks like at lunchtime. You've had white for a long time, but it's up to you. I don't really care. I'm just giving you options. So
Paint the whole tank gray?
you
And
can
then-
paint the
and
whole
then put
tank.
the city logo
You
in.
put the city logo on it, yes.
So would you go black or blue on that?
I would probably do, they both show very well. Black shows very well and blue shows very well. I have a bunch of pictures on my phone where with the blue that is painted is what I call flag blue. That's what blue, of course, I don't have to show you black, you know what black looks like, but that's what it would be. I go to so many meetings, I lose all my grays because we've done so many
The logo's
grays.
purple. The logo's purple.
Is that what it is? Well, if it's
Purple and
purple, you could do purple. Purple would be all right.
No, I'm just saying the blue looks like a purple.
Oh, I got you.
Which is good.
I don't have a grade. I go to so many, what happens is I hand those color samples out constantly and then I don't have them again. But
Usually happens.
yeah, I don't. So, I mean, we can do white. I mean, you can stay with white. You don't do dark colors.
you-
The sign doesn't matter. You don't do dark colors on tanks because you don't want to heat the water up in them. You're defeating your purpose of having a mixing system. I mean, you go to a purple or a black tank and you'll have so much water, you'll have so many water problems that Todd will quit. He'll retire. You won't have any chlorine anywhere in the system.
So if white is the best, so what's the gray? I mean, is it gonna help absorb heat as well?
Gray doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. I
Is it
mean,
as good as white?
white reflects it, gray picks it up a little bit, but it's not enough that it makes a difference. I mean, if you went to dark blue on the whole tank, I wouldn't let you do that.
That tank actually was blue at one point.
It was blue aluminum.
Light blue.
Like a,
It was
like
it's what they call blue aluminum.
Yeah,
And you want to talk about all the good stuff that's in a water line that those two guys were talking about. That blue aluminum had everything in it, but
Wow.
yeah, it had the 4 bad players in it. So
that's when you had a lot of lead.
that's why it lasted since 1960. So I can get you a rendering pretty quickly in a gray and a purple logo. I can get that done in about a day, and I can get it sent to you pretty quickly.
Just that blue, brother. That
I
blue.
thought you said purple.
Our logo is purple.
Our logo's purple, but
That's pretty close.
that's pretty close right there.
Okay, no problem. I mean, I can get you a rendering in a few hours. Those guys, all I do is call them and say, listen, here's a tank. They do a rendering, they send it to me. So if everybody could look at it pretty quickly, I mean, I can have,
This board needs to make a decision on that and get back with you within a week, you said?
before that,
Before that.
I mean,
Because the
before
bids are
the end,
going out.
probably before the end of the week.
Why don't we do it right now?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
you guys, well, I guess what we need to talk about, our other two tanks are white. We want to go with that, keep everything
I
consistent.
think I'd go with white.
Marvin,
Leave it white.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Leave
so
white with the blue
white with the blue
You can do that.
blue
logo.
logo, and you're all set.
That's fine. I mean, the only thing I said is that, nobody sees them in town hardly.
Right.
Except people that are in town because
Right.
your bookmark, your
Yeah.
book ended on the interstate.
Yeah, we have the school there, so we get a little more traffic than
Right.
normal.
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm fine with that. So you want to do your Scottsburg logo and do a white tank? No problem. That's easy. Now,
Mayor, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, so on the state champions, we're gonna put it on the middle school, the elementary school tank? The one we're talking about here?
No, you talked about the witch's hat.
Well, the only reason I said that is because it gets, how many cars and trucks go by there?
Exactly, yeah. The only reason we mentioned that in the last meeting was, the kids at school are out of recess.
Yeah.
And, it's,
And again, don't let me intercede there. If this board
Do it on both. I mean, how much would it cost to do it on both?
You mean on the witch's hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I can ask for that. It won't be in your base bid. It'll be an alternate.
But I think for now, let's just go white, put our city logo on it.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about, now tell me if I may be way off here, but if we get a bid to put it on the witch's hat and on the elementary school, say next year or whatever, or would you want to do that now at the same company?
You probably should just let the guys do it right now. And if you think you're gonna put it on the Vest Street tank, I would need to know that. But, well, you have enough room. That's a big tank. You have enough room to put it. Would you put it on two sides also, or would you just put it on the side that faces the school?
I would say just decide that.
Faces the school. I would think so. That's what I would think. You wouldn't do it on two sides. So
The
do you
same
know
way
what you
how
want that
it's-
to look like? I mean, like, I don't know how many championships you have.
When you,
I
when
mean,
you come
is-
into the city of Scottsburg, we have a
Yes.
sign.
Okay, I need to see that. That would help.
So would we want to keep it similar to that, Mayor?
Let me, you don't need to know that right away, but I can get that for you.
I don't, I mean, to do that is not a $10,000 change. That's a few $1,000s. It's not, you don't, I try to get everything priced before when we do this, because I hate to ask for money, afterwards, because you always feel like you're getting
Right.
taken
I
advantage of.
say, please, you guys tell me if I'm off. I say right now, let's just paint it white, put the city logo on it, and then we'll worry about putting the like state champions. We'll
We do that.
Let's do that another time. Is that okay with you guys? Okay, so Marvin was getting ready to make a motion.
I made the motion.
Yeah.
What color white with the
With
blue?
the blue city logo.
Can we make that purple?
We can, yes.
Because I think the mayor's ladies would be very upset if we picked blue.
Okay, so you're good.
That looks like blue. I'm purple.
Yeah, this is flag blue, like the American flag, but I don't care. You just gotta tell me what
So
color
all
you want.
our other
It needs to be from.
needs to be purple. Okay,
Thank you.
Marvin, we're gonna change your motion,
fine, make it purple.
white with purple city logo. Mary, you okay with that?
Purple logo.
So you wanted to say, you want the entire, I mean, I know we're not cutting here, but her logo is gold, purple, and gold. So do you want?
Can we do that?
You can do that.
Okay,
And that's
let's
why
go
I'm
there.
asking, because I don't want you to go, hey, why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
So you can do,
So let's just match that logo.
that's fine. That's easy. She just needs to send that to
Yeah,
me.
where do you want it to be sent to?
I'll give to my emails. I didn't mean to.
No,
try to
you're
get it
fine,
over there.
thank you.
I mean, that way all of our water towers match.
Yeah.
And I'll make a motion to paint the logo same color that's on the
And I'll second that.
Okay. All right, so the motion reads that we're gonna paint the tank white.
Yep.
Do a purple and gold logo to match the logos that are on employee shirts.
That's it.
Are we doing one side or two?
One side.
Will you do one side? The tank has a sign on each side of it right now, doesn't it? Doesn't it say Scottsburg on both sides?
I
Well,
don't think so. I think
they-
it's
One
on
looks on the north side.
I mean, I know it's on
the south side.
I was thinking it was on both sides. One's fine. I mean, right now mine just says, I can deal with it. I'll look at it when I leave this afternoon.
So if we can, yeah, because I think if we center that to where, like, people coming in and out of the school see it.
Yeah.
Because there's houses and woods behind it.
Everybody's excited.
Yeah,
I
so
remember that.
let's just do one, keep the cost down.
Yep.
Todd may not sleep tonight if we put two signs on there.
I understand.
He's pretty tight with the.
I'm so proud of him.
I got you.
Or why don't we do that? They put number one boss up there. Well, you'd be thinking he's talking about you.
You need to put number one superintendent. There
There you go. For a superintendent, that's a lot of, that might cost quite a bit.
Yeah, that's long.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those.
I got you. Okay, so he's here, she's here. So this is, we're finished with logo stuff and painting and colors and all that.
Okay,
So,
well, I need to get my motion.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so,
I'll second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Yep.
You know how the motion reads, so, all right, thank you, guys.
All right, so if you're finished with that,
We're done.
we'll go to the next. All right, so you have a city Wi-Fi system. Is that what you call it?
Fixed wireless.
Fixed wireless, okay. They're just saying, that was what it, no problem. They have an internet service. All right, so your tank, the Vest Street tank, and I guess you have it on the others, but once you get over this tank's a little different. So the Vest Street tank has somewhere roughly, but something between 10 and 12 antennas on. The climber seems to think that some of those probably don't work anymore.
They're decommissioned.
Excuse me?
They're decommissioned, so they work,
Right.
they're.
Right,
they're
they'll
not-
just take them all.
Yes.
Right, yes. And so, do you know how many you have then? If some of those are decommissioned, are we still at 10 or 12 or?
No, I could pull it, on my computer, if I can look, but I don't have it right now.
Okay, all right, well, no problem. All right, so we're gonna talk about this again. So I've been putting some little corrals on top of tanks for the last few years because they almost never fail. Whenever we paint a tank, somebody comes to say, can we put an antenna on it? And a corral looks like what's on that TV screen behind you.
Oh, well,
That's why I pulled, that's why I
on the very
wanted,
top of it,
yes, sir.
how about that?
And that's why I pulled that, that's why I wanted to pull this up, because I don't know if you all really, you know, if you kind of really knew exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, no, yeah, yeah.
So I was just gonna put a small one, not for their antennas, just for, you know, in case somebody wanted to put one up so that somebody doesn't come with want to weld on it, the tank that just got a several $100,000 paint job on it. So in our meeting yesterday with contractors and everybody else, we talked about the antennas that are on this tank. They either need to kind of come down during the painting process and then they can go back up, or you can build a much bigger corral and they can move everything to the top and it gets out of the painter's way. We deal with antennas daily, and painters hate to deal with antennas. They inevitably break one, cut wires. I mean, there's lots of damage that happens because they're trying to paint the tank. We're not sandblasting a tank, so it's not going to get it over. It's not getting a curtain on it, which would absolutely rip all those little satellite dishes off. And so I know that, I mean, if they all come down, her fixed base wireless for those people that are in that area is going to go away for several weeks.
So do you weld the corral to the tank?
It's solid
And
steel.
it looks like you have 16 sets up here.
Yeah,
So
well,
it looks like
that's kind of a generic corral. Let me get to.
So do you need more than that?
Oh no, that's a big corral. I mean, I'd asked for like a 5x5. Since she has a lot of antennas, we'd have to go to a much larger corral. A 5x5 corral, you know, is around $4,000 or so. And in a project that's several $100,000, it's not even 1%. We don't, you know, so we don't really pay much attention to that. Now, to go to a 15 or 20 foot corral, that,
Let's just say five foot.
well, 5 foot's included.
But how many stations will you have?
She can't get those. She can't get that many up there. I know. So a 5 footer would not do it. So I mean, he has to have 360, or you know, they need 360 degree coverage.
Right.
And so some of their antennas are relatively close, but they can't be right on top of each other. They need three. They would tell you, but you probably need at least 3 or 4 feet between them.
I see.
And
Because of
so,
interference for
Yeah.
frequency, which was my one question about having them where they don't have the base of the tank to block in between how they're gonna shoot, but we're gonna be higher, so it should be fine.
and
So,
they're all pointing out.
yes,
Yes,
which is their angle of how they are. So, and can I just say one?
you can say
Oh,
anything you like.
Okay, so in a perfect world where the conversation is obviously we're short staffed for it. Like if they are able to paint it and we can go up there and clean up a bunch, leave the ones that are active. And then if something happens, The biggest thing was, are they gonna get sued, or are they gonna say, I couldn't speak on behalf of a city attorney or anything like that? We can make it work. I don't know about the other antennas. Did you get that?
He
Is that a
did,
big?
he found out a little bit about it.
Okay, but, I mean, ultimately, yes, we need to have the existing customers that are still on the fixed wireless have service, but ultimately it's chiseling away because of the fiber build out. But still, we'll still need them for a while. I mean, until it's all built out, because there's those stragglers.
So one of the questions that came up, Mayor, was if the contractors damage these antennas, which I can almost guarantee is going to happen, not necessarily on purpose, but that just happens during their workflow. And so the question was, who has to pay for those?
Yeah.
And so if I tell the contractors you have to pay for how many of these antennas you've damaged, I mean, they're gonna stack $40,000 or $50,000 on your contract, and if we don't damage any, we're not getting that back. They get free money.
So my only thing with that is either, from what you were saying, is they're either gonna hypothetically put extra cost for the antennas that are already existing on it, or you gotta build something that's tangible that you can actually use. That was the only
Yes, ma'am.
logistical.
Or you take them all down and put them back up when they're done.
That's your call, but I don't like that call, because you're gonna take down several towers. Like the feeding towers for everything. There's no way those customers wouldn't have service.
For probably 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You
so,
can't do it.
But I do have Matt and Eric ready. We've already tried to plot out, like, in the next week or two, to get up there, get extra help to clean up and try, because it sounded like it was the corral option at the end of that meeting.
well,
But
that is a very good option. The problem is who's paying for it. Is Fixed Base Wireless paid for it? Your water board paid for it, or is the mayor paying for it?
Water board.
So you're talking probably a minimum of 25,000 minimum to build one out like that. I mean, we've done lots of them over the years. I mean, that's what you see. That's what you see on top of tanks, where you see all the cell phone towers and stuff up there. And so it's either that.
are you paying that amount to the, for them to be liable to go across, like, just to paint with everything where it is?
Ask your question again.
25,000 estimate to build the corral,
Minimum.
and we put everything up, or we just leave it as is, and if something breaks, we go fix it.
As long as you're going to fix it and not come charging towards me or the
That's not
contractor.
my call, but I don't,
You know,
that was
for-
the big question, so.
You damage.
We would fix it.
Yeah, the painters damaged 6 antennas, and these antennas cost, I don't know what they cost, but if they cost $2,000 a piece, that's a $12,000 bill right there.
But I can't, if they have other ones, like WOKO, I can't speak for them. I can't replace that. They have a weather thing up there, from my understanding, but I don't know that for sure if it's still.
We're gonna
Well-
unplug it and find out.
And to do without that for 6 weeks wouldn't be like being without internet.
Exactly, so
No,
like,
it's not, because there are people, since COVID, there are a lot of people who do work at home. And so, I mean, there's not, I don't see there's a world possible that they don't damage cables or antennas. Not because they're gonna do it on purpose, but it just happens in the workflow.
Sure.
And so,
So for future, if we built a corral, how would that, again, the ROI, how would that help us in the future, or would it at all?
well, if anybody else wants to put an antenna up, they can just put it right there. They're not welding on your tank,
So
you know?
you guys
They have
built
a
that?
camera up on that.
we're on the
Plan
handrail.
So you
They're on the
have-
handrail.
That's what I know of. One's got that.
Yes. And so basically, this is kind of like a new handrail system.
So-
that's gonna go up there.
Do you have a
On a water tank, you
picture
mean?
of one
As far as I
that
know,
has
no.
that?
Yeah,
I've never heard him say that.
yes,
That was a per-
Yep.
I would want it to look, you know what I'm saying?
we show you. Actually, this is a class
Is
that I
there money
teach
to be
about.
made by people, Stacy, on that tower? In other words,
I mean, I pay now, but it's not like gonna be new money.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Even the cell phone companies are not gonna pay you what it costs. Putting antennas on, I mean, she's not gonna like this. Putting antennas on tanks is a losing proposition for the water company. Because there's just, you know, you gotta let people on your tank, you know, and I'm not gonna say that you've done it or anything like that, but the antenna installers tend to damage the paint systems on tanks. They don't clean up very well. I'm not saying that your guys have done that.
That's gonna come and find you.
Yeah. I'm not telling you he did that.
No,
They have, there's a lot of things that go along with that. I mean, since they're a city entity, it's not as bad, but, you know, you pick AT&T or somebody like that, you know, you get under a 40-year contract with them, and with an escalator of like 1% every 5 years, you're losing money. And they do damage to your tank. They want to, every year or two, they want to come, hey, we need to swap out some new antennas, and they'll show up, and they do a lot of damage to tanks. I've had tanks that have been $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of damage done to them. And of course, they don't want to pay for anything and stuff. This is all related to her fixed base wireless, is what this is.
so in the good thing,
Well, if my computer, do you want me to leave? I can leave and go to my computer, but my computer's asleep right now, so I can't remote in. It wouldn't. There's a save control delete. It wouldn't do it.
That's what a corral system looks like, real life.
Well,
That's on a big old 1,000,000-gallon tank. And so this is
wow.
this is probably, this is a minimum of 25 to 30 feet diameter. But see, this all gets welded onto the tank.
Right.
You know, and so if you were putting cell phone antennas up there, then you'd have to have a structural done to it. You're not doing that. You're not adding a tremendous amount of weight by putting a corral on it, but you add 1,200 pounds of it, you know, cell phone antennas and times 6 or 8, then that becomes an issue. And so there's also a group around right now in Louisville that are trying to go to everybody they can, and I'm surprised they haven't come to you. They're trying to put radars, like, you know, like next or not. They're not NOAA radars, but they're their own private radars. And they come to you and they say, you know, this is a safety thing. Let us put it up there. Well, that thing weighs as much as a F-150.
Oh my.
This tank is
So
not
my
made
thing
for
is-
that. And they put them on several tanks, and I've been asked about it, and I wash my hands with it because I don't want to get it. But what happens is they get into the political side. See, they go to you, and they go to the county general executive,
we're on the same team.
and they tell you this is a safety thing for your community and all this stuff. And so once you bought into it, then I stay out of that realm, you know, because I'm not going to
I'm
say.
glad you told me, because I had not heard.
Well, they are doing it, and I can show you some.
I believe
It's a big dome. I mean, it's, you know, it's a radar.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to put their own ladder, they put it up, and weld it up, and then it has to have a ladder to go up and get into the dome. And then nobody can get on the tank anymore. All right, but this is what a corral would look like. And so, I mean,
But you guys can come fix it pretty quick.
For the most part, I mean, we have to, I mean, if you have a storm,
Yeah.
you can't plan for it
So-
either. I don't know.
What I'm getting from what Jay's saying is don't do the corral and just decline any offers to anybody that wants to put anything on our tower,
Right.
except for the city.
Right.
They're on our same team.
correct, I know
So
that.
that, yeah, so
I know.
that, so, you know, I don't know the WOKY.
I have nothing to do with that other than they, at points,
I can
that we've
call and
climbed,
find out.
we've
Yeah,
climbed.
does anybody, I was gonna say, does anybody know anything?
Nope.
Yeah.
I found it online.
Yeah, so, you know, we could get with them if they want it reinstalled, maybe pay your team to do it or no. I mean,
I don't,
is it clamped on like?
I have
ours?
no idea where it's at. I think one time they had to climb and they wanted us to change out a battery or something. That's what Matt remembers years ago.
Yeah,
But
so
we've,
I would say anybody that wants to weld anything on our water tank, absolutely not.
Well, that's why you put a corral on, because then they can go.
but no
Yeah.
matter what, you were gonna put a 5-foot, just not a bigger one.
That's what I asked for in my
Yeah.
specification.
So you would have-
So the 5-foot would handle what she has.
Absolutely not.
No.
No, you gotta go to
Let me go,
probably a 20 or better.
but that's based on how many antennas.
You can go.
Okay, let me go. just
Yeah,
get on-
you
Yeah,
know.
we're good.
Hold on, I gotta go.
She's gonna,
see what that looks like. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I know this seems time consuming, but
No, I
This-
mean, it's worth
this
it.
take, this,
Worth the
it's
time
kind of
invested.
important to do
Yeah.
this. And I mean, we
This
spent
is a-
40 minutes on just antennas yesterday and 20 minutes on this is how you're gonna paint the tank. I mean, so it's, you got, I mean, painters, if they think they're gonna have to pay for that, they're gonna load your contract.
Well, from what Stacy's saying, her guys can fix anything they tear up.
And I'm fine with that, as long as somebody says, you know, if they destroy, I mean, if they destroy 5 or 6 of their antennas, you know, I don't want you
Let's
to
see
come
how
to me
many
and
she
say,
even has over there.
right, and so, hey, you know, and wanting the contractor to pay for all this stuff and me and go after his bond and his insurance companies and things like that, because they're gonna say, we didn't give you a price for any of that, we didn't figure that in. And so, you know,
We don't want to give them a license to be careless
Oh.
either.
no, we do not. I mean, I just tell, I mean, what I would tell them is, you have to be careful about this. They're not taking these down because everybody is, you know, we have the Wi-Fi service or what have you. I shot some video of the tank yesterday. What is today? 27, 26.
It's
That's 25. That ain't it. I don't know where it might be.
I don't know what you guys think, but I think renting that for anybody to put an antenna, or besides the city, I just think it's,
I think that'd be a lot of liability.
well, I
Well,
just think it's a bad,
It's a pain.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
a pain.
it's gonna be more aggravation to Todd.
It is.
And again, what he's talking about, we've got hundreds of thousands painting this thing.
They could do a lot of damage. Yeah.
In an hour's time.
Yeah, they can, and they do. So, I mean, every square inch of planet Earth has been mapped for cell phone service. You know, it used to be, you know, when they would build you a tank, a lot of times Caldwell or Phoenix would say, you want to put a corral on this so if they ever want to be on your tank? And so that's how a lot of these corrals got put on tanks, and a lot of them have never been used. If they know where they want an antenna. And so sometimes they don't want them if they haven't come to you yet, they may not ever put one on there. That doesn't mean that tomorrow you don't get a call and they say, hey, you would like
I mean,
some
we're not
antennas.
obligated to.
You're not obligated to do anything. It's my tank. You don't have to get on there. The only reason they want on there is because it's cheap.
Right.
So, you know, remember, you know, back in the 90s when cell phones were going crazy, you saw antennas popping up everywhere. You remember when that was going on? The FCC said, what are you doing? They put a halt to that. And so, because everybody was building antennas wherever they wanted to, and so they stopped that. And so, and they put regulations on all of it, and now you can't just go put an antenna up where you want. And for a cell phone company to put up an antenna, it's $3 or $4 million to put the antenna up. Plus, they got to buy the property or lease it or whatever. And so, if they can get it on your tank, they got a nice fixed base platform, and they can just bam. They don't have to spend all that money. Of course, they don't want to give you but a little bit to do that. 26, 32. I don't know what I did with it. Did record.
While she's going for that, just real quick. Because we're running way over. The discussion on increasing monthly depreciation, can we put that on next meeting? Or do you need it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and table that. Well, I don't know if we want to table it, we haven't discussed it. But let's just put that on next week, and then just while they're getting everything ready, just real quick, Todd, you got a quote for the new AC unit?
Yeah, basically what it is, I'm sure you're all aware of that by now, but, we had some roof damage on the treatment plant. And, they had to remove the AC units. One of them is pretty new, one of them is.
You only have 5 up there, period.
Unit.
On the rail that we
My
would like to just leave
recommendation is to,
everything else we get
Put up
cleaned off,
new
other
unit.
than the ones at the tippy top that don't matter.
I don't think those are yours. Well, I know those are not.
because to take the old unit down and put it back up,
How many did you,
it's gonna cost
Yeah,
I'll show you.
$1,440.
So, Do you know what your distance you need is
We
between
can
those?
put a new unit up for $4,000.
Like, if
No,
I had
but-
one here and I
So
had
what
one
was the
I'm-
here.
first figure?
$1,440 to take the old one down and then put it back up and hook it back up,
And then 4,000,
and $4,000 for a brand new one.
no brainer.
No, I make a
Marvin,
motion
oh.
to put up in the unit.
All right.
Hold
All in
on
favor
just
of
a
putting up a
second.
new unit?
Are they gonna replace that roof completely, or, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, I noticed it, I went out there and looked.
It'd be pretty tough to iron that one out.
Yes. It looks a bit rough.
You got, insurance covering that?
Yeah, but I believe we've got the depreciation coverage, so
Mhm.
we will have to pay some of it. But the adjustment was out last week, and he's gonna recommend the whole roof be replaced.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crinkled up.
I'll tell you, hats off to you and the girls in the office. They had that insurance claim filed
oh, yeah,
like
quick.
quick. Yeah, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you only have 5 antennas.
So you got our motion to replace that.
It's a $4,000.
4,000,
Sorry.
No.
$4,020 S&L. include.
And the motion carried.
Paula, you made it and he second?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did get a second as well. That's the second
Okay.
vote, right? You did get a second. Then you called.
It was, well,
For that, I mean, for that kind of money, as much AC work as I have done, that's fair. And get it done. And
yeah, and it's kind of one of the things, Mayor, I had to get ahold of somebody that day,
Sure,
so
I'm okay with that.
That's an emergency.
they had to come out and remove the unit, so.
well, that company does a lot of our work and so we're good. All right, sorry, Jay, go
No,
ahead.
no. I stepped on you a second ago.
No,
So,
no, you're fine.
all right, so you have 5 antennas.
5 antennas on the handrail, 10 up at the,
They can go
Tip top.
upstairs.
what did you guys decide while I was gone?
Nothing.
Oh,
We're just
okay.
waiting on you.
No, we
So,
can do anything
yeah, okay,
without you.
so, the 5 that are on the handrail, if we clean everything else up, take everything else up, the others are at the tip top, that would leave 5 on the handrail,
How many do you have on the roof?
10.
Oh, you have 15 antennas that are working.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a different number than what I thought. All right, so then if we move to 5 that were on that, then you would have 15 antennas total on the roof of the tank.
Yes.
Okay.
So what size corral?
Oh, if you're going to a 15, if she's gonna have 15, I'd want at least 2 feet of space in between those things, minimum.
If I'm saying at the top, there's 10 at the top already. If I can leave the 5, clean the rest of them off, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more on the handrail. We say if they damage our ones, we'll just fix it.
Somebody put that in the meeting minutes, please.
I'm not saying it, it's your board.
I mean,
I'm
he-
saying
he-
Matt's good with that. We will go up and clean it so that it's like,
I understand.
get the other stuff, but
But
for
we're
the
still-
amount
Right, but we're still,
of our time.
right, so we're still gonna have 15 antennas up there when we're said and done.
Yes, you are.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm fine with where they are.
And if you did put the 5 foot, still did that, because you were gonna do that anyway.
That's in my bid anyway.
Yeah.
It's included in the.
So
thing.
that's
It's
what I'm
not-
saying,
it's
like,
not
that
even-
would be and then they were gonna put are they gonna put the cable locks if we did something on that, or?
I wasn't doing that. I only asked for a corral. And that was kind of like for future use. But that's what the corral was. The corral was asked for to begin with without any
Okay,
knowledge of you and your antennas being in existence. That was there so
But she can use the.
she can use a
Yeah.
corral. But so in case somebody comes 2 months after we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to paint the tank and say, hey, we're gonna put some antennas up here and we're gonna start welding on it. No,
Well,
no,
Yeah.
that drives me crazy.
but I think what this board's decided is we don't want any of that business.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Correct. So, I think that Todd asked, there are two other antennas up on top of that tank, and I think one of them used to be 911 antenna belonging to the sheriff's department, which I think now is all over on the pad over here, because it's all going to digital.
Right.
And I don't know if we ever got an answer about the other antenna. He says that the bus compound didn't really think they had one. I can't really find, I couldn't really run any lines down that looked like they were doing anything with those two old antennas that are up there. There are two antennas stick straight up. And they've probably been there since who knows how long, but everything has progressed. That's like I said, all the sheriff department and their 911, all that's all digital now. You can't even listen to it. People used to listen to the scanners at night, hear what was going on. It's really hard to do that now because of that digital stuff.
Right. So
I'm fine with just leaving the little 5-foot corral in my spec that they were gonna put in there anyway. If she wants to use that for something, I don't care. My whole crux to this thing is, hopefully they don't damage too many of your antennas. If the mayor and everybody else is willing to accept that if they damage them, that they're gonna pay for them, that's the better scenario, because
yeah.
if I tell them that they're gonna be responsible for them, they're still gonna be careful, but they're gonna pile money onto this contract. I mean, a lot of money. They'll probably pile $50,000 on it, because the headaches that go along with all that and having to replace them, it's a bunch. They'll pile it on so they don't have to lose any money.
So what do you guys think about going a step further and saying anyone that has an antenna up there will be responsible for fixing it if it gets messed up?
For their own material.
For their own, yeah.
I think that's,
And that's in our agreement, like we're responsible for our,
Right.
Right,
So-
but this is a road.
Yeah.
This is somebody else that's gonna be on the tank.
All right, so
Yeah.
Marvin's making the motion that anyone that has an antenna on our water tower, if it gets damaged during the painting process, they are responsible for
Yeah.
fixing it.
I understand that we have a little bit of risk on that, with
Yeah,
stuff, but I do
But
feel
not
like,
$30,000.
that's where I feel like,
It's fine.
Yeah.
But we had to talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I got nervous when I was just happened to be here at the last thing. I go, hold up, what? I was worried about the draping. Like, I was like,
We're not
oh,
doing it.
no.
Yeah.
You found out, what'd you find out from the sheriff's department or the school board after any more yesterday?
I'm
The,
not here anymore.
I called 911 and it's not theirs. And I called the transportation guy from the school. They're on spring break this week, so I haven't heard back from them.
I don't think either one of them work. I mean, I can't find a wire that's coming off of this stuff, that I could go disconnect and go see who's screaming because their antenna went down.
So is that something that, and I'm gonna ask both of you, if there's something that doesn't even have a wire running to it, can we just eliminate it? Yeah.
It's getting cut off.
Right, okay, perfect.
Oh, are they taking it down?
Oh yeah, the painters, they'll cut it down because it's in their way. They'll get it
So-
off.
All your stuff that has wires in it's going, you guys are gonna.
Yeah, if it's connected.
Yeah.
Not, not on ours, but yeah.
So there, and I'm sorry, but if during the painting process, does any of her antennas need to be moved for your painters to do their job?
They really should, just a little bit. They actually, and they would do most of that in one day, because the handrails are kind of like one of the last things they do. So, to paint where that thing is sitting,
Yeah.
it kind of needs to move a little bit. And
I
so-
think we could probably plan to have like Matt and Eric climb that day
and then
and
they'll
just
have to go
coordinate
back.
with you.
They'll have to do it more than one day.
Yeah.
It'll
and
be a
we'll
couple
just-
of days because they would move it, the guys would paint, because there's more than one one
Let it
coat.
dries, we
And
put
then
it
when it's
back.
dry, they can put it back.
We can pull that off.
Yes, you can. And we have Wi-Fi people that do that all the time on tanks and so forth.
I just need, there's
A little
the same tower climbers are the same ones that go install it to do the tank. So it's like, we're here tomorrow and I'm like, I don't got anything.
Okay, so we can plan. I can't let the painters plan it, but I drive the bus.
Yeah, okay.
And so I can make sure that happens. So I think he told you that he could add, a little link through your wire and things like that, right?
I wasn't on that one, but
Well, your climber
Yeah.
said, he told you if you went to the roof, he said I could put extensions on those to
okay,
make your lines long without ripping all of it down and putting all brand new Cat 5 wire.
okay.
That's what he was talking about yesterday.
Mhm.
And so, we can get you to where, I'll have to go look at it again. I'll think about it. All right, well, that's fine. That's a big thing, that drives price tremendously.
Right.
And
Okay,
of
so,
course, since I was here the last time, diesel's now almost $6 a gallon, so I'm gonna open a bid tomorrow morning, but it's for a little bitty tank. I don't know what's gonna happen. And so it's, those guys are gonna try to cover themselves just like any other contractor. So, we're gonna probably be a little higher than what we thought to begin with, but I can't control what they're doing in the Middle East.
So Marvin made the motion for anyone that has an antenna on the tank, if it gets damaged during the painting process, that they're responsible for the replacement of their materials. Paul, you
Yes,
second?
I'll second that.
and the motion carried.
We'll probably add it to the meeting minutes and
So
all that kind
I
of
guess
stuff.
our next meeting with you, you're gonna bring us quotes back.
Well, bids.
Or bids,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, it'll be the big difference between quotes and bids. Yeah, so, this is a publicly bid project. That will be on, we open bids next Thursday, is that right?
The second,
Second, yeah. Whatever day that is. And then I'm at your next meeting on the 8th.
Oh, that would.
Yes. Well, as soon as I open bids, I can tell you where the, we have 4 bidders here and they all do work. So whoever's your low is probably I'm not gonna say no, all of them are very, they've all been around for decades. So they're all competent. It's just a matter of what crew I get.
All right, Todd, do you have any questions?
He just
All right.
wants to know when I'm gonna stop talking.
So we have no announcements. We figured that out. And
We figured that.
so, Marvin,
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, we adjourn.
I second it.
all right, all in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
I do have a note here, it says that you can get an
Thank you, guys.
ultrasonic identification. It says a pinging technique where acoustic stress waves are sent along a pipe. Because lead is dense and soft, it carries a sound differently than copper or iron, allowing